to do things that will improve their physical, emotional, spiritual well-being. So this is going to create many opportunities for additional value-added activities, for attractions, for resorts, hotels. So this is a very interesting trend as well. The third trend, this is on business events, and we've talked to a lot of meeting planners and event organizers in the last year, is they are making it very clear that they're looking for new relationships with convention and visitors bureaus, with DMOs. They want much more collaboration. And I think what we're seeing, what I'm hearing, many associations are looking at completely new business models as they come out of this crisis. We've got major expectations and demands around risk sharing. And then the last one is really hybrid events, working with local partners on hybrid events. I want to show you an example of an innovative, sort of a very aggressive campaign that has been done in Montreal, the Palais de Congrès. What they have done there is they have taken 2 of their ballrooms and completely, in their convention center, and completely refitted them to basically create full digital studios. Very impressive. I'll just roll this tape. These types of digital studios are also popping up in several European cities. Vienna, Amsterdam are doing these as well. Let me turn now, if it clicks, to top strategies. So again, we looked at 80 strategies, and I want to just touch on 3 strategies here specifically. The single most important strategy, and this is where you've got very, very strong capabilities currently, is to focus attention on content creation and dissemination strategies in sort of the digital space. Now, why is this important? What's been interesting, one of the biggest impacts of the pandemic is online commerce has been accelerated by about 5 years. That's sort of the indication right now that we're seeing. And I want to just share with you a couple of numbers. These are global today. We've got over 4 million people that are doing Google searches. Just under 4 million people are watching YouTube. 6 million people are shopping. We've got hundreds of thousands of Facebook comments, tweets, Instagram photos posted. So this is a tremendous opportunity. It's also a major threat for destinations to take advantage or to mitigate negative stories that can occur. The other, to increase resident and sort of community support and satisfaction. And what we've seen, I hate using the term over-tourism, but that has really been the reality for many destinations. And I think as destinations continue to grow, you've got major expectations here. It is really important to get the support of local residents and organizations to support that growth. And there's a lot of infrastructure issues that have to be addressed. I'm going to touch on some of the other things that need to be dealt with here in just a minute. And the other strategy that we're seeing, this is a fairly new strategy, is going back to what I said on the trend side about promoting destinations, communities as a place to live, work, and play, there's a very, very strong sort of shift now in doing marketing campaigns, promotional campaigns, really highlighting the community's goals, values, creative energy. This is for business events, this is for overall tourism as well. So this is a big opportunity, no question. So what we're seeing when we look at the roles of groups like Visit Orlando is the focus in the past has been really about destination marketing, branding, sales. When we talk to them and ask them about what are the roles in the future, we're seeing other roles that many people are expecting these organizations to play. Much more active role in destination and product development, data research, providing business intelligence to members. And the one on the bottom, I'm going to come back to that, workforce development. So just in terms of what we see overall, the three major takeaways from this, we believe that organizations like yours should really be focused on three major transformational opportunities for the next 2 to 3 years. Destination alignment, I think you can almost tick that off already. Sustainable development, and I think for years we've talked the talk. I think there is now an expectation we've got to walk the walk as well. And then the third one is values-based marketing. So I'm just going to touch on just a couple of examples in each. One of the best case studies I've seen for an integrated branding campaign between economic development and tourism is Singapore. This was pre-COVID. 2015, they were celebrating their 50th anniversary as a liberated country. And they wanted to build out their tourism industry. They invested a lot in infrastructure and developed the Tourism Authority, developed a Passion Made Possible campaign in conjunction with an Economic Development Authority that were totally integrated. This is right now considered one of the best campaigns sort of in the world that has really totally repositioned Singapore as a place to live, work, and play. Auckland, talking about sort of the roles of DMOs. Auckland, New Zealand, just put out a new 2025 plan, and they've got some very clear areas dealing with destination management, product development, and then also a number of initiatives around sales and marketing. So we're seeing again this shift in many places. On the sustainable development in the reports that I'm reading, we're really talking about three core pillars of sustainability: environmental, sociocultural, and economic. We're starting to see destinations that are actually the CVB, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, with foundation support. Valencia is actually measuring carbon impact. Edmonton in Canada just announced a similar campaign. Lots of work on equity, diversity, and inclusion. Washington, D.C. has just established a major portal to promote neighborhoods and minority-owned businesses. On the economic side, supply chain restructuring. One of the things that's, again, a significant opportunity is to try and to maximize the economic benefit to the region is more local sourcing. Visitor dispersal is an area here that can also be play a significant role. And then the other one, and this is probably the biggest one, it's going to come back in your assessment, is workforce. I believe right now, for the next few years, workforce is going to be by far our most significant challenge. There was a survey that was done in Q2 of 13,000 job seekers in the United States. Over 50% of those people, a third of those people, in the hospitality industry said there's no way they're going back to the hospitality industry. So we've got a short-term problem. I know many of you are struggling with labor in terms of just meeting the surge in demand, but we've also got a longer-term problem in terms of just promoting the hospitality industry again as a viable career path. The last area, values-based marketing, just a couple of examples here. Canada's new campaign, the pitch is, it's more than traveling. The premise is that if you come to Canada, you're going to go back home a better person. You're going to learn things working with, meeting Canadians. I'm Canadian, so I don't know if that's necessarily true, but we'll go with that pitch. And then the other one that is a really interesting campaign that has gained a lot of recognition is in Fort Worth, is a series of stories that were promoted there looking at different entrepreneurs. This is one on a very famous barbershop guy.
I want to create spaces that bring people together. One of my objectives for Fort Worth Barbershop is to create this space where cultures collide, where people from different walks of life that otherwise may not cross paths, all of a sudden they cross paths here at the barbershop. We'll have the young hipster sitting next to an old cowboy with boots. We want to be a place that represents diversity the same way that our city truly does. We want to create a space where people are having conversations, and I think that it is our people that make the community what it is. As you spend more and more time in Fort Worth, I think what people come to realize is that there's some really special stories, and there's some really interesting people that are creating what we love about the city. I want to create legacy. There's so many factors that are pulling people apart. I want to bring people together in people's heart of hearts. People are good, and I want to be a little part of helping create that. And make guys look and feel great.
Jonathan now is a rock star in Fort Worth. He's actually a partner in a major hotel development there and has been involved in a number of other exciting ventures. So it's really cool to see the stuff that he's doing. Let me turn now to the assessment that we did for Orlando during the past few months. And this is the model that we built back in 2014, is we believe destinations are their success is going to be determined by two primary factors. The first one is how strong your destination is from a product perspective. Alignment is there, community support and resident support for tourism in your area. And what's interesting is when you intersect these two success factors, success drivers, you have four completely different scenarios that destinations find themselves. Everybody wants to be a trailblazer. The reality is that the majority of destinations are not trailblazers. There's many great destinations that are actually mountaineers. Great destination strength, strong destinations, but with declining, eroding community support. So we were asked to build a model. We have 12 variables that look at destination strength. We've added, as part of the tweaks for this, we've added one on health and safety, and then 12 other variables dealing with community alignment. We've added here variables on EDI, sustainability, and emergency preparedness. So this was a survey that was sent out. So this was done just over the last 3 months. We had over 440 responses. The biggest group were customers of yours, which was really interesting, but we had industry community leaders. The Visit Orlando team were also participating in the survey. Where you ended up, this is not a surprise. It wasn't a surprise to me. It wasn't a surprise to Sandra and the leadership team, is you did get one of the highest scores which we have seen. The other city that was comparable to where you are is is Sydney, Australia. Another great destination, iconic sort of facilities there, great convention center, meeting space, and hotel capacity. The other piece that was really good was there was very good alignment between those different stakeholder groups. We've had assessments where different groups have completely different perceptions of the destination. Some think it's great, some think it's on the verge of collapse. So your team is doing a good job, I think, in terms of keeping everyone apprised of what's happening. Now, you're not going to be able to see this from the back of the room. What's important here is, of the 12 variables for destination strength, 9 of the 12, you had scores that were above sort of industry averages. 3 were below. People who are pissed off at me for actually letting Orlando do this assessment, because now the bar has been raised so high for so many of these things. But as you'd expect, attractions, convention, meetings, and accommodation, really, really high scores. Where you've got low scores, local mobility and access is the one that is really by far the lowest. So when we look at what made up that low score, the areas where they were the lowest, and this is a number of different factors that are assessed, is walkability, road capacity, bicycle friendliness, and public transportation were the major ones. When we look at destination alignment, and this is really the one that I was interested in, I knew you were going to be strong on destination strength. Out of the 12 variables, you were above average on 11 of them. So that was really impressive. The highest scores: diversity, equity, and inclusion, economic development alignment, hospitality culture. Again, your low score here was workforce development. So when we drill down and look at what's causing the workforce sort of low marks, it is really about affordable housing, affordable daycare, public transportation, and healthcare options for workers. Probably not too much of a surprise to anyone, but these are issues that I think fundamentally about. Let me just close now by presenting sort of the new strategic plan. This plan was created over the last 4 months. There was a lot of engagement. We held a number of interviews with key industry community leaders. We had the responses from Destination Next. We had open-ended questions there as well. And then we had 6 strategic planning sessions with your board. You've got a great board, the leadership team, and the management team. So lots of engagement. This plan was formally ratified by the board last week. So it is now in force. The mission for Visit Fit. The big change here from the previous one was community benefit. It's more than just economic benefit. Visit Orlando can play a significant role in helping other organizations, leveraging the talent, the expertise, the relationships they have in working with other organizations in the community to help advance various objectives. And then in terms of the vision, to be the most visited, welcoming, and inclusive travel destination in the world. When we were talking to people initially, there's a lot of you in this room that want to get to 100 million visitors. I think the target that we established in this plan for the next 3 years that we think it's a stretch, but I think it's doable, is 80 million visitors. If you can get back to 80, to achieve that, 4 critical goals have to be achieved. These are sort of the pillars of the plan. These need to be sort of constantly updated and in terms of the specific initiatives here. At the top, and that's by design, sales and marketing. At the end of the day, there's other things I've talked about today that you should be doing, but sales and marketing is always going to be the major focus of this organization and other DMOs around the world. There's also important work that needs to be done in terms of destination management, destination alignment, and then finally sustainable organization. So what we did with the direction of the board, the leadership team, is to flesh out a plan for each of these goals. I'm not going to go through these in detail here today, but we have identified leads within the organization, timelines, and specific measurable targets for each of these 4 goals. So there's going to be, I think, a lot of accountability, transparency in this plan moving forward. So just a couple of highlights on the sales and marketing side. Major initiatives around branding to continue to elevate your global brand, leisure, group, sales campaigns, and continue to build the alignment with economic development sectors. On the destination management side, there's initiatives in here, more arts and culture, pushing for the expansion of the convention center here. You're in such a strong position with your meeting complex here. It's you really do, I believe, need that expansion. On the alignment side, DEI, resident community support for tourism, to develop another program like magical dining. The team has been challenged to try to figure out another campaign that can be as successful as that. And then finally, in terms of making sure that the organization is sustainable in the future, is really do some work around funding, about culture, which I think there's been really positive feedback with the work that Cassandra and the whole team, this is a phenomenal leadership team that you've got here, and then doing some things around board and staff diversity. So that's an overview. The last thing that was done was really cool, a new set of core values for the organization. This was a great interactive group exercise looking at developing these from the organization based on innovation, trust, welcoming, service, and we are Orlando. I love this one. We create moments that matter and have a blast doing it. Fun has no height restrictions. So that is your new strategic plan. Hopefully it's presented to you today. Thank you.
Us in this room, as well as leaders throughout our community. It was encouraging to see every stakeholder group rating us so highly in destination strength and alignment. This is a testament to how our collaboration makes us a highly respected organization. Visit Orlando and our destination as a whole is now equipped with a valuable roadmap to help us navigate to a brighter future. On behalf of the Board of Visitors, as well as the Visit Orlando staff and our member companies, we're excited to put the strategic plan into action. And speaking of excitement, come on, let's get a little bit of excitement in here. Thank you. I'm sure everyone is gearing up for tonight's big return of Visit Orlando's magical dining. Everyone has a reservation for tonight, I'm sure. Good. Starting this evening and running through October 3rd, our 16th annual magical dining program features incredible menu options at more than 90 member restaurants. For only $37, how much? Very good, thank you. Diners can customize delicious 3-course meals at some of Orlando's finest establishments. But the best part is, as you all know, $1 from every meal will benefit local charities. Since 2009, funds from Visit Orlando's Magical Dining have provided $1.8 million. How much? And grow their community outreach to residents in need. Last summer, there was uncertainty about whether we could even hold magical dining, let alone generate enough excitement and interest to make it successful. We made the right decision to move forward, as the level of interest and participation was remarkable. Not only did Visit Orlando's Magical Dining provide a much-needed financial boost to our participating restaurants, it also led to a record donation for last year's charity, Feed the Need Florida. This year, we're hoping to generate even more support for our two new charities, iDignity and Pathlight Home, two organizations committed to battling homelessness in Central Florida. In addition to the excellent work being done by iDignity and Pathlight Home, I'm proud to share that we're also adding a new component to this year's program. For the first time ever, we're extending our charitable impact by awarding $2,000 donations to one local nonprofit on the front lines of homelessness in each of Orange County's 6 commissioner: Project Streetlight, Matthews Hope, the Central Florida Hope Center, Latino Leadership, Zebra Coalition, and the Professional Opportunities Program for Students. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause for these amazing nonprofits being supported by Visit Orlando. And now, here's Morning.
So today in our warehouse here in College Park, we're packing 250 bags of produce that are going to be distributed tomorrow out in the community. What's special about this produce is it was picked up from local farmers the last 2 days, so it doesn't get any fresher than it is.
So we're so delighted that Visit Orlando and a couple of our board members are here at Feed the Need Florida to help our community in need. Feed the Need was a recipient of the 2020 Visit Orlando's Magical Dining Program, and so we were so delighted that even in the midst of the pandemic, we raised over
21. It's allowed us to serve over 55,000 meals so far and distribute over 75,000 pounds of produce to date this year.
So this year, Visit Orlando's Magical Dining has chosen two amazing charities, one iDignity and the other Pathlight Home.
iDignity's core mission is to assist U.S. residents and legal residents of the United States in obtaining their legal identification documents. It's estimated 10 to 11% of our community cannot access those identification documents. That basically takes away their ability to participate in our society.
The mission of Pathway Home is to transform the lives of low-income and affordable housing, where we took former motel properties and turned them into efficiency-style apartments. But we didn't just offer apartments, we offered case management, advocacy, transportation, all those services needed to help them on the road to self-sufficiency.
The funds from Magical Dining for iDignity will significantly increase our capacity to serve more clients, specifically looking at an outreach effort in our community for the underserved populations.
So we would like to use these funds towards future housing opportunities, as well as employment services and culinary training.
I would like to express my appreciation to Visit Orlando for giving to our community in such a significant way. The coordination of this effort is significant. And also thanks to all the restaurants in Central Florida. They're not just doing it this year, but have been doing it for, 15 years now.
We're so looking forward to what this is going to bring to us, because we have so many dreams to continue moving towards. So we're really excited about, what this can do for our organization.
The promotion, the marketing, the awareness, the outreach that this provides is something that a nonprofit like iDignity could never afford. And so just much significance of appreciation to them, and also all the...
We have some of the best restaurants right here in Central Florida. So enjoy a good meal and also help the least among us in your backyard.
I invite everyone in the community, as well as our visitors, to participate in this amazing programs to help these charities that will help people in need that are homeless or needing services so they don't become homeless. I'm so excited about Magical Dining!
It's going to be great. First of all, this was not in a job description for a chairman of Visit Orlando. Secondly, I don't cook, I can't cook, and you don't want to eat what I cook. So I'm excited to be visiting almost all of those 90 restaurants in the next couple of months.
Well, I invited my husband today because I don't cook, and the only reason that I do cook is for my husband and my kids to survive.
That's what he told
So
me.
this is the best program for me. So I can't wait to enjoy the 90 restaurants that are participating in this program.
So we need to get everybody out on the streets, to the restaurants, tell your friends, your neighbors, your colleagues to help generate great excitement and get these dollars into the restaurants and then into these charities. We're going to set a new record this year.
And honestly, it is going to be an exciting time, but know that the timeline is shortened from last year. So this is a big challenge, right? So from today through October 3rd, you can make your reservations and enjoy, but we want you to get the word out. Please help us get the word out about Visit Orlando's Magical Dining.
Stop by the Visit Orlando Magical Dining photo booth on your way out to post to social media. And also, this is important, pick up your complimentary gift, a newly designed chalice, sponsored by City Beverage and Stella Artois. And now we're finished with Bon Appetit.
Bon appetit, everyone!
Thank you.
Woo!